Hey folks, thank you for joining us for morning prayer. Thank you for joining me for this reflection. Today we're going to speak from the Gospel of St. John, the 17th chapter. It's Jesus' prayer for his disciples, or at least a big part of it. He's praying to God for his disciples. He knows his time on earth is drawing to a close. He knows that the crucifixion is coming. And in that space that he finds himself in, his love and his concern for his friends blossoms into this wonderful prayer. What I want to focus on today in particular is verse 15, where he says, "I am not asking you to take them out of the world, but I ask you to protect them from the evil one." You see, Jesus in this prayer, he is asking God to take care of his disciples, but we know, historically speaking, from church tradition, that all of them except John die a horrible death. They're executed in some fashion. Some are executed with the sword, some are executed being beheaded, some are dragged through the streets and attacked by dogs. John is the only one the church tradition tells us dies of old age. The rest of them, they die a martyr's death. So does that mean that Jesus' prayer here was useless? Does it mean that Jesus' prayer was unheard? That God said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'll protect one of them, but the rest of them, they're done for"? Of course not. It's Jesus praying. It's the Son of God praying. Every time he prays, God answers him. Every time he prays for something, God answers in the affirmative. Jesus has God's heart. The prayer here was not that the disciples would be protected from harm. The prayer here was not that the disciples would never experience pain or suffering or tragedy. The prayer was that they would be protected from the evil one. They would be protected from the evil one. They would always be safe with God. The prayer here is that they would always be safe with God no matter what happens to them in this world. I'm not asking you to take them out of the world. They're a part of this world. But no matter what happens to them here, never leave them. Never let go of them. Hold on to them forever. Keep them close. Don't let the evil one steal them. Don't let the evil one take them. Don't let the evil one grab hold of them. Protect them from the evil one. Now, I know that can be difficult to understand or accept because we hear so many times in the Bible where people are healed, people are cured, people are raised from the dead. The disciples do some pretty amazing miracles. Jesus does some awesome miracles. The prophets of the Old Testament from time to time work miracles. But these aren't promises of God. These are examples of God's power. They're a demonstration of God's power. They're not something that we are all entitled to. Now, I believe if we look close at our lives and if we have the right perception, we will see God physically at work in our life all the time. But that doesn't mean we'll never suffer. It doesn't mean we'll never get sick. It doesn't mean we'll never get injured. It doesn't mean we'll never be hurt. It doesn't mean that we're protected from disease or an illness. It doesn't mean that our bodies will last forever, that our hearts will never give out, that our lungs will never give out, that our backs will never give out, that our muscles will never give out. The miracles that we've seen, as I said, they are examples of God's power. Not examples of God's love for that individual, but examples of God's power for an unbelieving world. Jesus' prayer for us is not that we would be removed from the world. It isn't that God make us impervious to damage, that God put a shield around us to protect us from what is natural and normal in our world. That God would keep us safe, that we might live forever, physically. Jesus' prayer for us is that no one would ever snatch us from God. No one would ever take us away from God. No one would ever get between us and our Creator. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that you will find comfort knowing that no matter what comes, nobody, no way, no how can take you from God. No matter who you are, no matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, you belong to the one that made you. You belong to the divine. Amen.